This week in the field, moving around and making sure your tripod does not grow roots. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In the Field. Before I dive in, I want to get your questions. I want to find out what's on your mind. What types of questions do you have about photography, whether it's in the field, post-processing. Hit me up with comments on this video, or you can use the contact form on my website. Your questions come in directly to me. I usually turn them around in 1 to 2 days, and then your question may also be featured on a Q&A episode later on this channel. So this week, headed out to one of my favorite spots, Windansea Beach in La Jolla, just north of San Diego downtown. And this evening had me working. Nature kept me on the move, and that's kind of the spirit of this show. So really, I'm not going to do much of an intro here. I'll show you the spot in the maps. We'll dive into the footage, and you're going to see lots of different compositions happening. So Windansea Beach, here's San Diego downtown. Windansea Beach is on this little section of the peninsula known as La Jolla. We'll zoom in here. And I had gone to kind of the southern edge. So this is Windansea Beach, and we get into Strand Park. To like the southern portion of this area here, like way down to this section of the beach there. Let's go to satellite. And what had attracted me was this particular set of rocks is where I was thinking about setting up and getting engaged. You know, the sun was coming down this way. One thing led to another, and I had to keep moving and hopping around. So let me show you the footage from the shoot, and you can see how much change I had to keep making. Coming down to the south end of Windansea Beach, about an hour before sunset. Just giving you a scan from north to south of the beach here. So tide's rolling in. It's about halfway to high tide, and there is quite a bit of kelp and seaweed and so forth in the water. I chose this beach today because I wanted to get some actual sand in the foreground and the tide rolling in. Oftentimes the beaches I visit will be covered by ocean and just rocks. I wanted a little more sand in there. Let's see about nestling in toward the south end here in this little nook just behind a couple of those folks you see there on that retaining wall, and then being able to shoot back out toward the ocean, catching the sun maybe in the right-hand side of the frame. And right now it looks like we'll have very good conditions. There's a clear at the horizon. That should mean a nice color in the bottoms of these clouds. I've milled around a bit, and I'm going to do a kind of shot that's going to take advantage of the fact that there's a lot of this kelp here and use that as part of my foreground. So something framed like this, shooting a lot wider angle. And as these waves come up, they're making nice leading lines to this rock here. But then imagine that same frame, but also catching a lot of what's going on in the sky. Some fine-tuning the composition. Trying to capture, as I said, some of this kelp in the foreground. This rock is really my main subject, and then a lot of this sky. So the sky is a little more than, I'll maybe call it 5/8 of the frame. It's not quite 2/3. Right now I'm just playing around. I've got the ND filter on there just to play, get some nice drags on the water. And actually, with the 10 stop, it's getting me almost a 10-second exposure, so this water just becomes smooth and foamy. That'll come off as the sun dips below the horizon, and I'll just switch over to a polarizer because the sun is to camera right, so it's coming in at roughly a 90-degree angle, and that polarizer is going to help cut down the glare that's going to be coming right off of this wet sheen of the beach. I've changed up my composition a little bit. I actually moved up onto a rock, not so much because of the surf, but I wasn't getting enough of a foreground element. The kelp, which was kind of cool, is continually moving around as the surf chugs it around. So I'm framed up to catch just the little front part of this rock you see in the frame right now. Gotten the camera down really low. You see it's put the tripod out, legs out pretty far to get down low. Still angled the camera upward, so I'm still getting a little bit of the surf, but mostly the sky. The sky is going to be the star of this photo, and right now it looks like it's going to hold. I've had to change up composition once again. There is this large empty space right now between the clouds where the sun is over here, kind of hiding right now, and then this nice big bank coming up from the south. And unfortunately, my composition had this large area too prominently placed in the sky. So I've gone higher up on a rock. I'm pointing downward, so I'm catching actually these foreground rocks here, this like curved rock on the right-hand side, a little bit of this, and then much more of the beach, the cliff, and then more of this cloud, kind of more prominently using this area of the sky, maybe about there, and making it more about the ocean. Just having to roll with what nature is delivering me. Well, nature has kept me working tonight. Moved around again, chasing the clouds, chasing the patterns in the foreground here, in the sand, and also in the background. I got about 5 minutes before the light's gonna hit it, so this will be quick. Set up, F16, ISO 50. I'm focusing right on the foreground of that rock, and then I'm getting all of this stuff going in the back. Right now my tripod is slowly moving as the water's swirling around and softening the sand in the legs. So I'll be constant adjustments until the sun goes down. So as you saw there, I had several different compositions that I went through as the tides changed, as the clouds changed, as the sun changed. The sun never did fully materialize and give us that burst of color right at the sunset. The sun did actually tease a lot. It went down the horizon. There was a tiny gap in the cloud. You could see the full orb, that nice orange circle of the sun, but it wasn't strong enough to cut through the clouds and light up the underside of what would have been a really brilliant sunset. That didn't happen, but still had quite a bit of fun. And really the tip of the week to tie this together is to don't grow roots. Don't plant your tripod in one spot when the conditions are telling you, you're not going to get a good shot if you stay here. The composition that you may have had in your mind, or the one that was good when you first got to the location, conditions change, you've got to change with them. And moving around, keeping nimble. I've talked about that before, but it was very important on this particular outing. And I wouldn't have come away with things that I would consider, usable or keepable if I had just pointed at that initial composition. That area of the sky became very, very boring, and just got to move around. You got to chase nature. And that wraps it up for this week in the field. Again, if you've got questions, send them my way. Love getting your questions. I want to hear what's on your mind. And until next time, my name's Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.